Hey guys, welcome to the first day of our 28-day practice of navigating the foundations of yoga. So for today's class, what you might need are some blocks. Again, if you don't have blocks, Megan's got a giant Harry Potter book, so you could grab one of those. And then a bolster, we've got blankets and pillows. So if you need to, just pause the video, go grab some things that will help your practice a little bit. Something squishy, something hard, and we will get started. So when you're ready, we're gonna get started in a seat. So take a comfortable seat. Megan and I have bolsters underneath us. Find something that allows you to prop your hips up. And just get comfortable. Maybe taking your legs crossed and then allowing either your hands to be palms facing down on your knees, which is signaling your body to become grounded, or open up towards the ceiling, which is a sign of open to be receiving. So take whatever feels better for you in your body. Close your eyes and just allow your breath to move naturally through your body. So this week's intention is moving with conscious awareness. So even when we feel like we're being still, our bodies are still moving in time and in space. So as you just gently breathe, bring that awareness to the places of your body that are moving when you inhale. And when you exhale. If bringing that concentration to those areas is hard, maybe take one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And as you breathe in, feel the depths of your belly start to expand. And keep breathing all the way up into the chest until you feel your chest expand, your ribs pull apart from one another, and maybe your collarbones even lift up. Pause at the top. And then exhale, feel your chest fall. Feel your ribs knitting back together. And feel your belly button pull back in towards your spine. Let's do that one more time together. Inhale from the lowest part of your belly. Keep breathing, lengthen it out all the way up until it reaches your hand on your chest. Hold. And exhale from the chest first. Knit the ribs together. And allow the belly to drop. Beautiful. Now that we have become present on our mat, go ahead and open your eyes gently. And we're going to practice what is called an Ujjayi breath. It's a very typical breath that we practice in a vinyasa class or really many types of yoga. So how we're going to get into that, it's kind of funny, but we're just going to start by taking a deep breath in and open your mouth, exhale. Great. So this time, we're going to do that again, but we're going to take our hand in front of our face. So we're going to take a deep breath in and open your mouth, just exhale. Feel how that air is kind of cool. It's not very warm. So our intention is to warm our body, heat our body from the inside out. So we can do that using this Ujjayi breath. This time, what we're going to do is inhale, keep that hand like a mirror in front of your face. And on your exhale, act as if you were gonna fog up that mirror. You're making almost a ha sound. That's gonna start to warm up the breath and warm up the body. I'm already feeling it. And we just did too. So let's try that one more time, but this time you can take your hands down onto your lap again. So inhale, big breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. So we're keeping a little bit of a constriction in the throat. So the muscles are kind of tensing up just a little bit. And that is how we're gonna build that heat. So this time we're gonna breathe in through our nose. Keep your lips pressed together this time and exhale that same consistency out. So we're gonna try a couple of these so you get it. But this can also be called an oceanic breath. So keep breathing as I speak. Inhaling through your nose. Exhale with that consistency in your throat, out through your nose. Beautiful. So keep breathing, lengthening your breaths. Megan's gonna keep doing it while I talk. So the inhales of your breath can be compared to an ocean gathering up the water. So inhaling deeply, you can even think of your belly as that ocean, building up the water, building up your breath, filling up. And then exhale can be compared to the waves crashing onto the shore. So if you close your eyes and you start to think of this as an oceanic breath, can you hear the sound that your body makes? Can you make the waves with your breath? And as you keep breathing, you might notice that you've started to calm your body and calm your mind. You might feel that internal heat starting to build. This breath increases the oxygen that is coming into your blood. And it helps aid in releasing frustration or irritation. It allows us to be present and conscious of just what's happening in this moment, what our bodies are doing. It brings all the attention and focus into the now. Let's take 5 more Ujjayi breaths together. Inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your nose. Inhale together. And let it go. Three more. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale. On this last 2 here, feel your belly expanding, feel your chest expanding, feel yourself take up space as you inhale and compress as you exhale. Last one together, make this one a little bit longer, a little bit deeper. Pause at the top and exhale it out. Gently open your eye. Beautiful, nice breathing, you guys. So throughout this entire practice, let's try to remind ourselves to come back to that Ujjayi breath, that slight constriction in the back of your throat. If something starts to feel like it's getting a little bit hard for you or you're getting frustrated with yourself, just come back to that breath, come back to the present moment. And let's get started. Go ahead and make your way onto your feet. We will start standing today. Remove anything that's in your way, but maybe have blocks or your books next to you or nearby. So we're gonna bring an awareness to our feet right now. So go ahead and take your feet about hip width distance apart. So take a peek down and make sure you know where your hips are. So some people think that their butt is really big and they'll take it out, kind of making a wider base. And some people think that they're really small and they can only have 1 inch between their feet. So go ahead and find what feels stable for you. And once you get there, just let your arms fall by your side. From here, pick up all 10 of your toes and really try to curl them up towards your shins or towards the ceiling. Now, as you do that, maybe start to sway forward and backwards and side to side. Feel the weight distribution in your heels, in your arches, in the balls of your feet. And just play around with that for a second. Feel what it's like to shift to one side and how your muscles in one leg ignite when you move that weight to make an even distribution for your entire body so you don't fall over. Now from there, come back to standing. Keep your toes picked up. Now this is going to help ignite all of the muscles in the fronts of the legs, in the ankles, and the feet. And it's going to provide some stability for us. So once you come back to center, feel your feet equally pressing down through your heels, through the arches, and through both sides of the balls of your feet. And once you've got that, go ahead and gently let your toes come back down to the mat. Beautiful. Now, this is kind of tricky to understand. We're not actually going to move our feet, but we're going to ignite our muscles as if we were going to pull our toes and our heels apart. So I'll kind of try to walk us through that. Without actually moving your heels, think about pulling your heels apart from one another. You get that? So now feel how that ignites the sides of your legs, maybe the backs of your legs a little bit into the glutes. Keep that. And now do the same thing with your toes. Try to pull them apart without moving your feet. See how that ignites the front of our legs into the hip flexors, maybe the quads right above our kneecaps here. Hello, Bart. Beautiful. So keep that. Stay really active. Keep pressing down through your feet. And now just try to ignite the quads. So right above the kneecaps. And I try to lift and squeeze right there. You might start to shake. That's okay. We're finding this really sturdy foundation for ourselves from the ground up. And now bring your hands, so your pointer fingers to your hips and your thumbs to the lowest part of your rib cage. Now notice, I'm gonna turn sideways. Notice if your butt's kind of sticking out and you've got a lot of room in between your ribs and your hips. See if you can pull your hips up towards your low ribs and take the tailbone down towards your heels. So now the core is actively engaging. Our feet, our legs. Pull your navel in towards your spine. Allow yourself to stand up a little bit taller. Bring that awareness to your shoulders now. Are your shoulders up towards your ears because you're concentrating so hard on the lower body? Or can you pull your shoulders back and let the shoulder blades drop down with gravity? Now, one last thing is to slightly tuck your chin so we can lift the back of our skull and the crown of our head, getting nice and long through the spine. Beautiful. You are now in a really stable mountain pose. Close your eyes and come back to that Ujjayi breath for 3 rounds. A mountain takes to the sun the same way it does to the rain. It takes up space. It stands firm from the base. It stands tall and proud. If I were to come and try to push Megan here, she's not going anywhere. She's solid and concrete. And so just know that during hard times of your life or your day, this inner foundation is always available to you. You can always find your strength by rooting into the ground, taking up space, closing your eyes, and finding your breath. Open your eyes gently. And let's start to move a little bit with our breath. So from here, thank you, Megan. So from here, we're keeping that really solid mountain pose. Take your arms out to the side. Palms are facing towards the front of your mat. On your inhale, we're gonna bring our hands just up to our shoulders. And then once we get to our shoulders, flip your palms up towards the ceiling. Take one more sip in. Inhale, reach all the way up. And on your exhale, bring them back down to your sides. You can flip your palms out towards the ground and press down. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Inhale, take your palms towards the front of your mat until you get to your shoulders. Open up towards the ceiling. Reach up. This time, pull your rib cage in and reach through your armpits. Exhale, take your hands down by your side. A few more times. Inhale up, reach up. Maybe this time bring the palms to touch. Maybe you can take your gaze up towards your palms. Exhale, take them back down to your sides. One last time. Inhale, reach up. Feel the rib cage lift. Lift through your armpits all the way through the fingertips and bring your hands through heart center. Beautiful. From here, inhale, reach up. Same thing, maybe the gaze goes up. Lift. Stay here for your exhale. One more time, really reach through the fingers. Inhale, up. And exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Beautiful. So now we're gonna take those wider feet now. If you think you've got those big hips, think bigger now. So maybe even as wide as your mat. Put a nice bend in your knee. Maybe sway side to side. What we're gonna do is lift our chest up and then spill over. Maybe grab your blocks just so that they're nearby. Megan's gonna take us through some forward folds, but first we're gonna come into a little restorative ragdoll pose. So you're gonna see Megan's back here, and I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see a few different angles of this. So we're gonna put enough bend in our knee so that our bellies can rest right on our thighs. And let your head drop heavy here, okay? And then grab opposite elbows. If that doesn't feel good, that's okay. You can just kind of let your hands and your arms be long. But if you feel like you can grab opposite elbows, go ahead and do that. And then just feel as though your spine is releasing down towards gravity. Maybe give your head a nice little shake. And sway side to side. Maybe bounce a little bit with your knees. Just relax here. It might not seem like a very relaxing pose. For the first couple of times in your yoga practice, it won't seem relaxing, but this will become a restful pose for you eventually. And now we will slowly come out of it and learn our forward folds and halfway lifts.
Okay, so coming into forward folds, anatomically, this is going to be slightly different for every person. Mm-hmm. So you might notice that doing forward folds with your feet directly together is most comfortable for you. Mm-hmm. You might notice that you need to go slightly wider, or you can slightly angle your toes into a more natural position. But anywhere you are, finding that nice comfortable stance, I usually do about two fists width apart between my feet. And then lifting tall into your spine, coming to that mountain pose. Inhale, sweeping those arms to the sky. On an exhale, very slowly bringing a bend into the knees, folding from the waist. And bringing your hands down to the block, to the floor, somewhere comfortable, where you feel a slight stretch, no sharp pains, no numbness, no tingling in those hamstrings. From here, noticing where your weight is in your heels, in your feet. Maybe you find yourself leaning really far forward. Yep. Or you're leaning really far back. Notice, are you putting pressure on the outsides of your ankles? Or are you going in on the arches? Just trying to find as neutral of a position as you can. From here, we're going to engage through the spine, elongating it, bringing the crown of the head towards the opposite wall, tailbone for us towards the windows. Just bring a nice straight line, keeping the head neutral. We're not kinking into the spine. Your spine goes all the way from the base of your head to your tailbone. So keeping a nice long line. You might find that you need to bring your hands all the way up to your thighs, to a chair, to a couch, the counter. Just elongating, engaging through that core. If we're not engaging our core, we're not keeping our spine safe. We're not giving that low back protection, and we might find some low back pain. Make sure you're engaging. And by engaging, I mean using the core muscles to draw the ribs and the hip bones slightly towards each other. From here, as you exhale, relaxing back down into that forward fold. This time, nodding the head yes, shaking the head no, and then allowing everything to relax down to the mat. One more time on an inhale, coming into that halfway lift, engaging the core, elongating the spine, head neutral. And as you exhale, folding down one more time. Inhale, bringing that long spine, halfway lift. And as you exhale, folding down. You might find that after the first couple, you're getting slightly deeper. Your hamstrings are warming up to the motion, to the feeling. Inhale, flat back, nice long neutral. And then in your own time, coming down all the way to the mat. To start, we're now going into planks. Ooh. Yes, planks. They're tough. They require a lot of body activation, but I know each and every one of you can find some sort of modification or strength in this pose that gives you the empowerment to work on planks, because it's such an intimidating pose sometimes. So to start,
I will turn sideways.
Yes.
And be the demo bar. Sorry.
Art. No, can't do that. To start for this plank, we're going to find our tabletop position to begin with. Bringing the shoulders over the wrists, pressing firmly through all your fingers, engaging through the hand. And then finding a neutral spot with your head once more, elongating the spine, knees about hip width apart underneath the hips, and then finding that engagement into the core again, drawing up into, this is tabletop. From here, we're going to elongate the left leg only. Just stepping back, tucking those toes under, giving yourself the support, the strength to hold that straight line from shoulder all the way to ankle. Very slowly, inhale. And as you exhale, lowering that knee, shaking the shoulders. You might find that you're pulling the shoulders up towards your ears. Shake it out. And on your next inhale, elongating out right leg. Holding nice and strong. Finding that core activation. And as you exhale, lowering knee to the ground. And then maybe coming to sit on your knees for a moment. If sitting on knees is a little sensitive, grabbing your trusty blanket, placing it over top your calves, gives you a little support. We're going to shake the wrists out. You might notice if you don't put a lot of pressure in your wrists, usually it's a pretty delicate joint and it can be a little sore and tender. So giving some warm-up shakes, maybe taking your hands into prayer pose and then finding full circles two and away from your body, slightly giving yourself a little pressure each way to stretch the wrists. Now, if you found that to be kind of your starting point, fantastic. We can also take plank to the wall. We will show that in just a minute. But going into full plank, coming back into that tabletop, engaging the core, pressing through the shoulders, through the whole hand, palm, and then stepping that left foot back, engaging, stepping the right foot back on an inhale, holding for an inhale, exhale, lowering down onto your knees. That might be your starting point today, and that's perfect. You're exactly where you're meant to be. If you're finding this to be a little too daunting, maybe stepping the knees slightly back, coming into knee plank, a modified plank. So once again, you're still creating that line, but now your line is from your knees forward into your shoulders. Holding for a nice breath, and exhale, and then release. Even that could be a little challenging. That's where finding a chair or a wall comes in really handy. For us, we have great window ledges, but finding enough space to bring your palms under your shoulders again, stepping the feet back, and creating a line here. Noticing that your head through to your ankles are in a nice line again. Inhale, exhale, and release.
Now your practice is over. We are just gonna come into child's pose now. So grab a blanket, a pillow, anything squishy you have. We've got bolsters and pillows nearby. You want my bolster?
Sure.
And just take your pillow or your blanket or your bolster, make it big enough. I'm gonna grab 2 pillows. I'm gonna really give myself some love here.
I'm building mine up with blocks.
Yeah, so whatever you have, make something big and squishy for you. I'm gonna move these so I can show you how to get into it first. And then there are 2 options. If you feel like you've got nice wide open hips and they're not very tight, bring your big toes to touch and then open your knees up wide as feels comfortable. Maybe that's to the edges of your mat, maybe that's in a little bit more or out a little bit more. From there, you can take your hips and set them back on your heels and then crawl your hands forward, 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 until you bring your chest down to the mat or to a bolster or blocks or pillows. If you don't feel like you have enough space in your hips or you feel like you need a little bit, little stretch for the low back, a little bit more love for that low back, you do the same exact thing, only bring your knees into touch. So your big toes are touching, your ankles are almost touching, maybe splaying out a little bit. Your hips come down to your heels, and then walk your arms forward. Your belly can rest right on your thighs. And then maybe you bring a block or 2 or a pillow underneath your forehead if you can't quite make it all the way to the ground. Either one of those are perfectly accessible and acceptable. So find what feels comfortable for your child's pose. This is a restful pose. So as we continue the series, if at any point you need a break, you need to catch your breath, this is gonna be the pose to come down to. So let's finish out our class by finding our Ujjayi breath for calming the body and the mind back down. Inhale together through your nose. Exhale through your nose. few more rounds just like this. On your inhales, feel your ribs and your belly expand. And on your exhales, feel your body surrendering to your mat and to gravity. And gently start to walk your hands back towards your hips, pressing yourself up. Remove your pillows or your bolster or your blanket, whatever you had, and make your way onto your butt. Again, find one last comfortable seat here, and we'll take one cleansing round of breath together before we completely finish our practice. Bring your hands to touch in front of your heart, so prayer hands. Close your eyes. Take the deepest inhale that you've taken all day, in through your nose. Open your mouth, make a little noise, sigh it out. Thank you so much for practicing with us today, yogis. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow and for the rest of our 28-day series. We end class with a word that means the light in me sees and honors that very same light within you. Namaste.
Namaste.